It's 8 a.m. and I've driven to a hardware store in San Diego, California, where I've heard that groups of illegal immigrants meet, looking to find work like building, painting or DIY. You might be able to see behind me there are at least 10 Latin American males gathering outside this hardware store. They're illegally here looking for work. They're not only putting themselves in danger, but their employers are acting illegally too.
I have been coming here every day for around 16 years. Corruption prevails. There's the problem with the cartels in Mexico. Right now the situation is very difficult. People are fleeing out of fear. They don't have work, families aren't safe. So we come to the US in search of that safety because we know that everything is better controlled here.
There were 10.7 million unauthorised immigrants in the US in 2016. About half of them were from Mexico. Although that number is slowly decreasing, there are still places where Mexicans visibly line the streets touting for work, not knowing whether today they'll get employment or not. Not all migrants manage to get work. Many are still struggling to even get to the border. This guy wants to help. Hugo drops off water and food in places he knows migrants are trying to cross. How dangerous is this area for migrants? Are they putting their lives at risk?
They risk their lives, not only in the winter because it's a cold, extreme temperatures here at the area, but also in the summer it gets up to 120 Fahrenheit in this area.
So if you weren't doing this, would you find that there would be more people dying?
Yes.
There is a danger that people who do water drops, like the ones Hugo regularly does in California, could now be arrested. In 2017, 8 volunteers who worked for the charity No More Deaths, who regularly drop food and water along the border, were arrested and fined for littering. Humanitarian aid like this is seen by many as encouraging migrants to make the dangerous crossing, but Hugo thinks they'd come anyway.
What I know is that most of them are forced to migrate. You know, they say that they don't want to leave. They didn't want to leave their hometown, their property. They are doing it because of they are tired of being on threat.
The fear of being arrested doesn't deter Hugo, and every month he's joined by teams of volunteers who drop water and food in the dry, hot desert. According to ABC News, more than 260 people have died this year trying to cross the border. Most of them were from heat exposure, and 53 of them were children. I've just spotted this clothing here. What is that?
It was probably from a migrant that crossed the border, and sometimes they have like 2 sweats,
Pants, or they just change their clothes or jackets to avoid being detected by the Border Patrol.
Just then, one of the group spots 2 men running over the border. Seconds later, a helicopter appears. We've just this minute seen 2 men running down over those hills, obviously coming over from Mexico. And now border security have arrived. So it looks like they've spotted them. Just 5 minutes later, Border Patrol arrive. After a quick scramble down the hill, we manage to get to where the officers have taken hold of the migrants. Without any struggle, the men are put into the trucks and taken away. We have to stop filming. So we've just had to quickly leave the border where we saw 2 immigrants coming over the hills. Now we don't know what the future holds for these men. It could be that they are granted asylum in the US, which means a safe place for them to stay. It could mean that they are deported back to Mexico, or it could mean that they face imprisonment of up to 5 years for criminal activity. So if the wall was built with no gaps,
Anyways,
Is it impossible for migrants to
no,
come
no, no, it's gonna be tougher.
through? Okay.
But
so
you
they
know,
can still
they
get out.
are in a fight or flight surviving mood. It's better to die trying to risking the life, trying to make it for a better living in a safer country than to die in Mexico or Central America. Anyways,
So the war's not going to stop them?
no, the war is not going to stop it. It's going to be more difficult to them, but it doesn't mean it's going to stop them.